Please welcome one of our own, Afsana Khan.
Firstly, can everyone see me? Thank you for this amazing opportunity to speak to you this evening. I never did a day's work in my life. It's all been fun. Thomas Edison said these iconic words, which has now become my mantra. Why should you work? Let's do it for fun. He never attended a tertiary institution, but if he had to choose a faculty, it probably would have been Humanities. Good evening to the Honorable Dean, UCT staff, graduates, students, and fellow guests. I'm a proud UCT Humanities graduate. The title alone encapsulates its list of stereotypes, but most of all, we are the faculty that's known for having too much fun. Passion and desire for the arts is something we are born with, and we should never compromise this in the workplace. Here's a little background of my life and what got me here today. When I was a kid, there was a show called The Pretender. Now, many of you might not remember this. I can't remember how old I was when it came out. But basically, The Pretender had, my favorite character was the actual protagonist, and he was my hero, simply because he could chop and change jobs every day, or episode by episode. And right then I knew I did not want to be stuck in one career, and why should anyone? So in high school, I chose matric subjects that gave me opportunity to choose as many degree options as I wanted. My parents also did not limit me. The basic rule was, do whatever you want as long as you get a degree. I don't think they hoped for me to do a humanities degree. I graduated from UCT in 2008 instead of 2007. This is because I failed English by 2%, and not many people will admit to this. Basically, I was tutoring second years in my third year. I was doing 3 majors and generally overcommitted. I don't regret any of this. And because I failed, it taught me the most important lesson of them all. Never take anything for granted. So excuses aside, I'm happy that I eventually graduated in 2008, because it also gave me the opportunity to do quite a fun fine arts course for first year credit, because apparently I had too many senior credits. At this stage, I was lucky enough to get a job at EVO Media, and finding out that I wasn't going to graduate had me a bit stressed. What's going to happen now? Is my job going to be off the table completely? Luckily, the CEO at the time told me that it's okay, I can still study while working. And conveniently, my fine arts lecture was during my lunch breaks. So here I was in Greenpoint, rushing off second semester to Hidding, just for attending lectures. And if anyone enters advertising, you know when it comes to deadlines, you don't have any time. So basically, when the project deadlines were coming closer, I got our secretary to type up my assignments. It was a very exciting time, and something I would love to do again, but not willingly. At Endo Media, I started off as a flash designer, and after a quick 2 years, I was the company's creative director. Life is too short to stay in one place. So, 2 years after that, the final of the Soccer World Cup, most of you remember it was a Sunday, I phoned up my boss and I told her, listen, we need to talk. I met up with her and I said, I've reached the end of my road with this company and I need to move on. I need to start my own company. Somehow she knew this was coming. I learned everything I needed to learn and it was time to move on. Tip number 1, don't ever burn your bridges. If you ever leave a job, leave on good terms. My boss then is now one of my key clients, as well as my business mentor. Fast track 2 years later, Endo Media and Events is a successful graphic and web design company with clients such as Islamic Relief SA, Pachi Chocolates, Cape Business Collect, and Miller SA, just to name a few. We also have fun social media workshops targeting small businesses in Cape Town, as well as the rest of South Africa and the world. Recently, I facilitated workshops to the Cape Craft and Design Institute and the Cape Tourist Guides Association. It was lots of fun. As mentioned before, I was part of the Young Entrepreneurs Program that recently went to America. Now on this, I had to learn business development on a global scale. Being in the international space, learning about business, you encouraged a sense of global thinking, a sense of open-mindedness. Now the common phrase is, think global, act local. Mine is, think global, act global. South Africa is an awesome little pond to swim in, to do business in, and to grow. But there's a whole world out there. Tip number 2, don't limit yourself. Keeping the pretender in mind, I'm currently a graphic and web designer, developer, marketeer, social media facilitator, multimedia lecturer at UCT and 2KO International, band manager to 2 bands, and most recently, wannabe comedian. But I also found out recently that I'm not always that funny. And all thanks to my BA in film and media production. Given that humanities degree does not guarantee a career, it's what you make of it. During my undergrad years, I found myself despondent that I did not learn anything. So there I was, wearing striped socks, shorts, and other items that resembled a hippie punk, feeling sorry for myself. And one of my partners in crime at the time, Daniel Neville, who was also a successful humanities grad, currently at Corp Marketing, said to me, varsity doesn't teach you anything. It teaches you how to think. We learned how to think, and that is all we need to succeed. Think our way around a situation, analyze, adapt, and survive. Don't worry, I'm not going to quote any more Charles Darwin. But I will quote my favorite Albert Einstein quote. Everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. We all have that will to succeed within us. The greatest mistake we make is to allow others to convince us otherwise. We do not have the ability to climb trees, but some of us do. We should embrace our strengths and suppress or overcome our weaknesses. The idea of what makes someone a success is whatever you want it to be. To me, success is the ability to be happy. To others, is to be wealthy. And if you somehow achieve both, then your parents must be really proud of you. Let me leave you with a few of my guiding principles. Learn something new every day. At EVO Media, I told my boss that every day I learned a new tool in the Adobe software, whatever software it may be. And she was like, wow, really? Because she thought that she employed someone who was a bit more proficient in the software than I was. I was faking it the whole time. But every day I learned something new. And since technology and life is evolving in such a rapid stage, you should make an effort to learn something new every day. There is no issues, only solutions. So life is already cluttered itself. Life is quite simple and people just make it complicated. Cut out all the nonsense and find solutions. And when you create those solutions, you'll find your goals will be accelerated and your path along that way will be smoother. Never hesitate. Trust your gut. There's a TV commercial currently on Circus that says, if you have to think about it, then it's not for you. Your gut is the best gift that you have, and it's right within every one of us. Don't ever doubt yourself. Set your goal and then commit to it. Commit to it by creating milestones to achieve that. So just backtrack to what I said about wannabe comedian. When I was 17, I wrote a list of things I want to do before I die. I called it that because the bucket list didn't come out yet. And on that list, number 8 was do stand-up comedy. A few years ago, I started a comedy blog, just to get myself in the tune of writing comedy. This was milestone number 1. Milestone number 2 was to do public speaking properly. Because when I was 8 years old, I had stage fright. So the worst song, I'll never sing live again. But basically, I needed to overcome those 2 things, writing for comedy and public speaking, somehow combine that together, and this month was the first month I actually did stand-up comedy. So whatever your goals is, whether it's professional or life, set milestones to get them achieved. The last one is be flexible. Life always changes, it evolves. you should shape yourself towards it. Whatever career you choose, shape it along the way, grow. So from a flash designer, you can end up a creative director. Humanities graduates are all-rounded, passionate, hardworking, and most of all, the best person to have on your team when playing 30 seconds. Thank you everyone for this opportunity to speak to you once again, and congratulations to all the awardees. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Afsana. I think she does deserve another big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And please receive from us a small token of appreciation for your inspirational message. Thank you very much. Right.